Okay, good evening, everybody, or good afternoon, and welcome to our impromptu training. I am going to place the link here in the group, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And what we're going to be talking about today is something that you can be placing or what's missing from your PLR, and this will be a little different than maybe you might have heard before. Similar to some things that I may have done before, but going to be a little different, a little different. So let's see. I think I probably need to place this link inside of the actual uh, event. I did that the wrong place. Let's see. And it's a little tricky doing this in the group. Um, yeah, I think we got that there. And then I'm just going to go over here to YouTube and get the actual YouTube link for those of you who want to watch it there. I know there's some people that would rather watch it there, so we're gonna go ahead and place that link here also, and uh, we'll just say we are live. All right, and we are good to go. Okay, so if you want to ask questions, the best place to do that's going to be the YouTube link, and you can do that over there. I can see the chat box there. If you decide to put your questions in Facebook in the thread, I will come back and actually do that. Right. And I'll probably be posting the replay there sometime in Facebook. I'm a little more comfortable doing this in YouTube live. So I want to kind of get back to being there. So again, if you want to ask a question live, you can do that here inside of the YouTube chat. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I want to talk about today how to make a closing argument with PLR. And so, what do we mean by closing argument, right? What are we saying here? And I want to talk about. And I guess I prefaced all this by saying there's probably a missing element from PLR, most of it. And that's not by design, and that's not because the creators are at fault in any way. It's really because it's something that you have to add. It's something that you have to place along inside of the PLR, whatever you're doing with it. Even if you're using as content, you really do have to place this element in there. And there's no way a PLR creator it can put into a PLR package what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And if you want that PLR to actually do something for you, if you wanted to sell an affiliate product, you wanted to sell your product, you wanted to be a product to sell, you wanted to make you an authority, you have to be including the elements we're going to be talking about here today. Um, and the gap between getting traffic to your PLR offer is not going to be the method, right? So it's not so this is not a case where you use the wrong traffic method, or you use the wrong Facebook ads or Google AdWords. None of that stuff is going to matter with what I'm going to be talking about here tonight. In fact, you can be getting uh, boatloads of traffic. You can be getting it from solo ads. You can be getting it from pay per view. You can be getting a lot of traffic from a lot of different sources. If you're not doing what we're talking about here tonight, it's not necessarily going to pay off for you. And I've found that it can discourage people from getting out there with their PLR. And there's one thing that you can do to kind of help yourself. The process is called pre-selling, right? And that's regardless of how you're using it. That's regardless of the market. That's regardless of the niche. That's regardless of the category. You and I have to pre-sell people when they're buying things or they're reading things or they're experiencing things on the internet. Most people are probably coming from social media where they're in a social mindset, or they just saw a meme, or they just saw Gary V. It doesn't matter what they saw. they need pre-selling. They're not going to go to your sales page and just say, you know what, I've been waiting for this all my life. I'm ready to buy it. My credit card was already out. Now I'm going to buy it. Typically, you're going to have to kind of bring people up to what you're talking about. You're going to have to bring them over to the concept. You're going to have to get them ready to experience what it is that is going to be on your sales page. In fact, when you've done your job of pre-selling right, quite honestly, you don't even have to have a sales page. Right. Some of the best offers you probably ever purchased was something that you came off a webinar and you just went right over to the cart. Right. So even a sales page isn't really even always necessary. And the process of pre-selling is vital. It's important. I'm going to be talking about it here, regardless of what you're doing. The process of pre-selling decides on who the target is. Right now, I'm not talking about traditional direct response here. I'm probably talking about more about the theory of constraints here more than anything else. You have to narrow down who can benefit from what you're talking about in order for your strategy to work, regardless of what kind of sales strategy you use. You need to be deliberate about what the want or the need is. Right. So, in other words, you're going to have to make some decisions when you decide to pre-sell. You're going to have to pre-sell people based on what you think they really want. This is far before you get into start explaining what the product does or how awesome it is. You have to really start thinking about, okay, you know what? What is it that these people need? Now this means that you do need to know these people a little bit. I'm not saying you have to do in-depth market research. That's not always going to be necessary. The more you know about the people that buy from you or who could buy from you, the better you are. But you do need to know something, and then once you know that something, there are probably 10 reasons why people might buy from you. You're going to have to narrow those down before you start down this process of pre-selling. Now again, pre-selling is powerful, pre-selling is effective, but it's only effective when you narrow down the reason that you think they're going to be buying, the reason that they might want to get the information that you have for them. Now, that process is going to be involving, and again, this is more theory of constraints, but it's necessary. You have to name the undesirable effects of the current reality. Now, that might sound a little lengthy, but I'm going to explain that. I'm going to break that down. In other words, what is it about what they're experiencing right now before they get to what you have that's not working? What is it that's not working for them? What is it that's in their way to get to the goal that you're putting in front of them that your product is going to give to them? Now, again, we're not talking about the product right now. We're not even talking about the benefits of the product. I'm talking about the undesirable results. What are they experiencing right now? Um, you're going to have to decide. You're going to have to decide on a future reality. In other words, you're going to have to say this is where you're going, and that's going to be determined on what you decide they need. That's the future reality. The future reality is we're going to get them what they need. We're going to get them what they want. And we're going to move them from where they are, where they're experiencing something that's not desirable to them. Right. I'm not saying it's always bad. I'm not saying that they're in pain all the time. I'm saying where they are right now, it's just not something they want. Right. So it doesn't have to be that deep that they're in deep pain and they're desperate. No, we don't always buy because of that. Sometimes we buy because we want something different. We want something better. We want something better than what we're experiencing right now. We have now, and what we're going to be saying to them in the pre-sale is this: the only alternative to get that future reality is going to be what I have for you. Right? That's basically where we're coming from. In other words, we're going to tell them about their current reality. We're going to tell them about a future reality. And we're going to say the only way you're going to get there is going to be what I'm going to be selling you. And we're going to be talking to them and talking them through a pre-sale process. Now, here, I want to explain this in context, right? I want to explain this in context. And I want to ask you, so how would we do this using the WordPress checklist PLR? I'm going to talk about that from this standpoint. And let's see if I can bring this up here. And I'm going to come over here. Okay, so now let's take a look at this right now. Um, so we have the checklist, and I think this is from Kevin Fahey, right? And so if you just approach this PLR in terms of I want to sell this as WordPress, this is going to be about WordPress. I'm going to be people looking for people who want to learn about WordPress. I'm going to suggest to you that's going to be a laborious pre-sale process. It's also going to be a very competitive pre-sale process, right? You and I don't want to bother with that. What we want to bother with is what we want to do is we want to talk about the things that are going to really benefit people. And we want to talk about them from the perspective of what they really want to know, right? So, how do we do that? Well, I'm going to come down here into this checklist and we're going to notice something. Most of the people that you and I are going to be talking to are people going to be wanting to make more money. Let's look at this checklist for a second, right? Because we want to start thinking about how we're going to pre sell this. Now, here's where he has here the checklist itself talks about AdSense, Amazon, and affiliate offers and ecom, right? AdSense, Amazon, and affiliate offers. Now, I'm going to just take Amazon for example, right? So if I were going to pre-sell this PLR and I were going to pre-sell it on the basis of Amazon itself, that this is what it is going to deliver to them, I need to pre-sell what it's going to deliver, right? So how do I pre-sell what this is going to deliver? Right, so let's talk about Amazon. So they're being encouraged to go and get their Amazon Associates ID. So you're gonna be giving them, you're gonna be selling them, you're going to be attracting them to becoming affiliates with their WordPress site. So if you're going to help to make them money using a WordPress site by getting them an Amazon affiliate program, we're going to pre-sell on that basis. We're not going to pre-sell on the basis of WordPress. We do not even want to talk about WordPress until we've effectively made the connection between them wanting to learn how to be an affiliate on Amazon, making money, and them getting rid of their undesirable effect. Okay, now let's go a little further. I'm going to X out of this right now. How do we market it? That's the question. Now, here's the thing. So if you want to check out, I've put some. I'm going to be talking about the specific elements of the bonus that I put together, right? And so you can see that at WP Checklist or the plrshow.com/WP Checklist, right? So, and I spelled that wrong. I think I have WPE checklist and it's actually WP checklist. So don't put the E in there. All right. So the very first thing you and I need to do is we're going to have to put a headline in there. Right now, the headline is supposed to grab their attention. What is it about the undesirable effect that's going to grab your attention? The very best headline I've ever heard. Now, you probably have some headlines that really got your attention, and what you really want to do is mimic some of the best headlines that got your attention. Right, the best headline that ever got my attention was one by Ryan Dice, and he was selling a product on how to build a website called Authority ROI. I don't know if you ever bought that product, but I bought it a long time ago. It was $197, and he got me with the headline. And the headline said something like this: the headline was "Blogging is dumb." Right, and the point of it wasn't so much that he was trying to insult people, but it was an attention grabber, and you need an attention grabber in your pre-sale. So whatever your best headline is about their current reality or their future reality, you need to state it. Right, remember, I stated the fact. It said blogging is dumb. Right, so more than likely what that did is that kind of zeroed some people in. Some people were insulted, some people were repelled, but some people were curious like me. What does he mean? That's all you really want to do with your headline in the pre-sale. Now, I understand I'm not talking about writing a sales letter here, but you do have to get people's attention. You've got to get them dialed in. So how do you get them dialed in? You start by talking to them. Then you're going to say, now, I want to talk to you about how to create an income for your passion. Now, why do I say that? Right. So again, if I were going to write a script, I want to take people from this idea of blogging to making money. And I want them to know that they need to be blogging about what they're interested in and moving then to an affiliate income. So I'm going to title this comes after the headline. This is almost like a subheadline. This is what my presentation is going to be about. And so when you structure your presentation, this is what the information is going to be about. This is what you're going to tell them. Now, again, pre-selling is not a long thing. I'm not talking about a webinar. I'm not talking about a sales webinar. We are doing a sales presentation, very brief. We start with a headline, and right now we're at almost like a subheadline, or this is what we're going to talk about, because we're moving from We're moving from the idea of their current reality to the future reality that they want. Okay, so now here's what the presentation is going to be. Now I'm talking about creating an income for your passion, and I'm asking them, do they have a hobby or favorite subject? I'm them saying, right, that they can actually earn money. I'm talking about the future reality. They can do then by becoming an associate with Amazon.com. Now, again, I'm getting straight to the point. Why? I'm not talking about who I am, and this is why you should listen to me. I'm not this. That's a sales webinar. This is a sales presentation. I'm bringing them to probably a blog already. I'm bringing them to maybe a podcast, and this is going to be something where, again, this is a brief sales presentation. Now, again, Amazon.com is the most heavily trafficked in the world, and then I'm going to have a statistic in there. Now, whatever you're marketing, right? Stick some stick something in there that has proof at this point. And I'm saying you can go to marketingcharts.com and you put a statistic in there about whatever it is you're talking about, right? It has, and I would put something in there. It has X amount of traffic. The people are already there. I'd find something from marketingcharts.com. This means that the individuals are looking for your information when they make a purchase, or you can earn money when they buy. Now, again, this is a pattern, right? I'm following a pattern. This is just pre-selling. All I'm doing is getting them warmed up for the sales page, which is supposed to do the job. I'm bringing them from cold and I'm getting them warm, because if somebody goes through this, right, I just want them to be warmed up when they get to the sales page. That's all I want, right? The sales page has got to do the job, but it's not going to do the job if they're not warned by the time they get there. And that's what you're doing here. Now, at this point, right, I want to bring in a brief case study or an excerpt from an interview, right? It doesn't matter. This is social proof. This is something that somebody has already done it. You want to bring your story right at this point should be somebody who did it. So they don't have to have bought your product, right? I'm not talking about that, but they need to have experience. They need to have done the process. You need to find somebody who has the result. You can go get that from the internet. Right now, again, you might want to make sure you give credit to where that came from. Right, if you go get it from a website, don't just take somebody's information. If you can, that's why I like interviews better, because you don't have to ask a website owner for their permission for their content. Get somebody who has had a result and place it in there. It doesn't have to be long. They just need to verify that, listen, and here's the case we're talking about. In this case, the example I'm using is that they've made money as an affiliate from Amazon on their blog. I'm going to put their case study right here. It's going to be brief, and I'm going to move on to the next step. Then I'm going to talk about, well, what do I need? And again, the point of this slide, or the point of this point in the presentation, is this. I want to get straight to the point from, you don't have anything you need right now. What you're going to need is eventually the course that I'm going to be selling you, right? So I want to get to that. That's this transition. You're going to need an Amazon associate accounts. That's going to be easy for them. You're going to need a hosting account. They're going to need a domain name. They're going to need an email service provider. They're going to need content that others can respond to and click the links. They're going to need a place to regularly place their educational content. They're going to need to build that content in an easy to understand system for creating the content, and they can do that effectively on WordPress. That's the transition. So I'm transitioning them from wanting to have an income that they can generate on Amazon through an affiliate program to needing WordPress. And again, I've got that in bold because that's the product I'm going to be teaching or selling. Right? This is again, I'm not doing an entire big deal sales presentation. Getting them warmed up to go to the sales page. Right? The sales page has got to do the job. I'm depending on this. All I'm doing is getting them warmed up to get to that sales page. The only people I want going to that sales page from this presentation are people who are going to be interested in WordPress and what the actual product is going to deliver. Right now, what is WordPress? WordPress is, and I'm just going to talk about what WordPress is, right? I'm going to talk about the ease of it. And basically, I'm talking about here, I'm talking about it's going to make it easy for people to buy their stuff, right? That's what I want them to understand from this presentation. What is WordPress? And again, now there's another slide in there. I'm not going to go over these parts. I'm gonna kind of fly through this. And there's another piece that you put in there, and you talk about, the fact that you talk about basically you transition into why they need your course. Right now, Okay, so we've done this. So now here's the thing. So how do I market the WP checklist, right? How do I market this checklist PLR using this closing argument pre-sale method? How do I do that? How do I get them to a page where they're going to be buying the pre-sale, or where they're going to be buying the checklist? And the answer to that in this question, in this case, is, folks, don't do it, right? Don't, right? So how do you sell it? You don't sell the checklist. Now that might sound like a contradiction in terms, but I'm saying don't sell the checklist. What you want to do with this PLR is this: you want to make it a key part of something, right? You make it a key part of getting them to opt in, or you making them. And why do I say that? Right? So why do I say that? Because if somebody wants this checklist, that means they're interested in how to use WordPress to make money, right? So you don't have to give it all to them, but you give them a portion of it because they're interested. Now, if they go and they get this checklist or part of the checklist, they're interested, right? So you use that to your benefit. Anybody that goes to get this checklist, they're not getting the rights to it; they're getting personal use. You can rest assured that they have some marginal interest in learning how to use WordPress in order to make money. Now, it probably means they're interested in learning more about affiliate marketing, right? So then, if that's the case, what can you market to them? You can market to them any course that you have on WordPress and traffic, right? You can market to them any course you have on WordPress and structure. Again, all this can be PLR. You can market to them any course on WordPress and site speed. Basically, as soon as they opt in and get this checklist, what are you going to do? You're going to send them directly to the offer, right? You should have any of these offers would be appropriate because they've already proven that they want this information. Now, again, the key in this is going to be the checklist. It's going to be the pre-sale, right? You use the pre-sale to warm them up, to get them ready for this course. You use the checklist in order to get them opted in. And as soon as they opt in, you send them to an offer delivering on the promise. Now, what I'm going to do is I will give you, and again, I spelled checklist wrong, so please forgive me. Don't worry, don't use the E. I will give you this entire presentation, including the missing parts. Okay, at the plrshow.com/WP checklist. I will add this to the download page of the bonus. And if you've been to this, if you've seen this, basically, the I want to show you the bonuses here for a second because what we did in this case, I'm not going to play the video, so don't worry. Show you this for a second. So basically, what we did was we put together the 3 courses that, again, you can use the checklist to opt in and put this course on the back end. So you opt them in and send them to a course on traffic. Opt them in, send them to a course on on-page SEO. Opt them in, send them to a course on WP Boost. Now, again, remember you've got PLR rights that we're giving you for these courses. And basically, what you're going to do is you use the checklist or content in the checklist to determine interest. You get them interested through the pre-sale, and then you market the course to them in order to upsell the content. That is what we are doing here in this process. Okay, now, so again, I have once again, I have the wrong. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'll just put this in the chat area here because I wrote it wrong. And like I said, it's WP, not E checklist, it's WP checklist. So the plrshow.com/WP checklist. So again, so forgive me for my spelling there. Okay, so also today, the PLR Repurpose Masterclass, it goes up tonight, right? So we're going to do the first price increase tonight at midnight. You can pick that up at the plrshow.com/masterclass, right? So you can pick that up there. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? So again, the actual web address is the plrshow.com/WP checklist, not WPE checklist. I got that. I botched that totally wrong. Right? Any questions? So again, what you're doing, what's missing for most PLR is going to be the pre-sale. That's because that's what you have to do. right? Most people don't pre-sell. You send people straight to the sales page, they're not ready. You have to get them ready. And you use the pattern that I've given to you here, right? You use this pattern, right? The pattern. Remember, it starts back. I'm going to go back here, right? Now again, I didn't go over the entire presentation, but I will give you the entire presentation, including the parts I didn't show you here. So you get the headline, you put the headline there, you talk about what it's going to be about, you transition with some proof and social proof. You then put your interview and case study. You then transition from what they have to what they need, right? You describe what the problem is going to be, right? What's WordPress? And basically, what we've done here is we've said, hey, you know what, WordPress is great, but you're going to need some help to learn how to use it. And then there's the other parts that we left out. And then you use this in order to pre-sell your information. All right. So any questions? Any questions? Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you all. Have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.